real estate market in 2025 has been interesting, to say the least. I think coming into this year, people were pretty excited about the market and expected interest rates to come down throughout the year, which would result in more buying power for buyers and maybe allow some sellers who have a 3% interest rate to finally make a move. And coming out of the winter, the spring market was competitive and it was looking like it was going to be a very competitive year as expected. But then suddenly the national headlines were filled with news of tariffs and trade wars and major job layoffs and now a government shutdown. And quickly the mindset of buyers and sellers changed and people got a lot more hesitant to make a move. So unless someone absolutely had to, more than likely they're going to second guess their decision to buy or sell this year. And that eventually turned into national headlines of real estate markets where houses were sitting on the market a lot longer, buyers were not buying, it was tough to sell, and that home prices were decreasing. But what's happening in one part of the country isn't necessarily happening in another. So I want to focus in on our local market in Woburn, Massachusetts and see what's been going on here. Woburn and the rest of Greater Boston is one of the more insulated and strong markets in the country. So things that are happening in maybe Florida, Texas, California aren't going to affect what's happening in Massachusetts. So let's take a deep dive into the data of Woburn's market this year. So let's take a look at this market review that I ran for single-family homes in Woburn as of October 29th, 2025 versus 2024. So to start at the top, we can see that there are 29 single-family homes on the market right now in Woburn, whereas in 2024 at this time, there were 14. That's a huge 107% increase, where there's 15 more homes on the market right now as compared to this time last year. And of those 29 that have been on the market, the average days on market is 50, and last year it was 37. So houses are sitting a little bit longer, but you can see that the average price is almost 1.1 million. So these numbers do have a lot to do with larger homes and new construction homes that are sitting on the market that are high 1 million, some are even over 2 million at this point. So those are sitting longer, which is pretty common, especially in a city like Woburn that has really seen massive increases in prices over the past 5 or so years. And that high $1 million plus market isn't the strongest as compared to other towns. As you scroll down here, we can see that 210 single-family homes listings have been taken this year versus 229 last year. So despite the 15 extra homes on the market as of today, there's actually been 19 fewer homes listed overall this year. So inventory is down year over year. Of these homes that were listed, 155 have sold so far this year, and 168 were sold at this time last year. So we're down 13, which is just under 8% difference. And of these that have sold, the average days to offer last year was 16, the average days to offer this year is 15. So even though it seems like, based on some of the numbers, that the market is way slower, houses are sitting a lot longer, it's going to show that the ones that are selling relatively quickly still. Because houses that are appealing to a wide audience or in a good location and are priced well are still selling quickly, but houses that maybe are overpriced or they're not in a great location or the house doesn't check a lot of boxes for a lot of buyers, those are taking longer to sell. So that's why there's more houses sitting on the market. It's the ones that people aren't as excited about and aren't as willing to pull the trigger on, where the house is perfect, people are ready to jump on it and make an offer. And the important numbers here, the average sale price everyone wants to know. This year it's been $848,982, and in 2024 it was $834,807. There's a slight increase in the overall average sale price, which again can be skewed depending on what hits the market, if there's more high-end homes that sell versus lower end. Still, this shows that prices are holding pretty strong and that there hasn't been a significant increase or decrease. Another section to focus on here is the listing units price change. This is showing, out of all the listings that have been on the market, how many have had a price drop at some point. And you can see in 2025, 49 have had a price drop versus in 2024, 35. So price is always the most important, but this is showing that things aren't selling right away or way over asking price consistently. So we're seeing more houses need price drops in order to get offers accepted. And now to flip over and show the median numbers, since some people prefer those over the average, might show a little bit more of an accurate story as to where the numbers are at. We can see that of the sales that happened this year versus last year, this year the median sale price is $780,000, whereas last year in 2024 it was $769,000. There's minimal difference in the median sale price this year versus last. So again, despite the ups and downs we're seeing throughout the market, and maybe it's not as crazy competitive as we've seen in past years, the values are still holding very strong. So despite increased inventory on the market, we're seeing some more days on market for certain homes. We're seeing buyers a little bit more nervous and skeptical of when to make an offer and when a house is right for them. Home values are holding strong. So if you are still looking to buy, you're not buying high or buying low. You're buying at a time where there are chances for buyers to get in and buy a house without facing 20 other offers like we've seen in the past. So if you've been getting outbid and having a hard time competing in these very competitive markets, this is your opportunity to get an offer in on a house that maybe has been sitting for a little bit longer, or it's one that doesn't get as many offers as it previously would have. So that allows you to maybe offer less money, keep inspections, or not be as aggressive as you maybe would have had to when rates were lower and the market was a lot more competitive. And the timing always still needs to make sense for you, both in terms of your lifestyle and your finances. So if you've been out in the market looking for a while and you are ready to buy, this is a good opportunity because there are going to be some houses on the market that aren't getting the offers we've been seeing in the past. So if you're sick of competing, get out there, look at houses, and put offers in when a house makes sense for you. And at the same time, for potential sellers, if you're worried about losing a lot of money on your house because it's a down market and buyers aren't spending as much, we can see that values have held strong this year and have actually increased a bit. So more than likely, if you've been in your house for 5 or more years, you are not going to be losing money on the sale of your house. Maybe you won't get 10 offers and $100,000 over asking like we had in the past, but you'd still sell for a strong value and get a good market value for your home in order to make your move. So even though there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, one thing that is certain is markets like Woburn and the surrounding areas in Greater Boston are very secure for both buyers and sellers right now, where we can see that for buyers, there are more opportunities to not have to compete against a ton of offers and go significantly over asking as often. And for sellers, home values are still holding strong, so that when they're selling, they're still making good profits on their investment. For more insights into the Woburn market or for help with the buying or selling process, shoot me a text or email, and I'll help you get started today.